First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here and I'm just going to grab Omnisphere onto a track. Perfect. So now that's set up on that track. And the next thing I'm going to do is we're going to focus on setting up our inputs. So let's get rid of that business. Before I do anything else, I'm going to want to take Midi from all ins, and I'm going to say no input. And that's very important because otherwise you will have duplicate inputs for things when you want to route them otherwise. Let's go ahead and close this. Now I'm going to create 8 Midi tracks because as you've noticed, Omnisphere has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different parts. So this will allow me to have a Midi input for every one of these individual parts. And we'll get into routing the output of this in just a second. You see how it says out A currently. We'll go there in just a minute. But here's so I'm going to create 8 Midi tracks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And we're going to, just for giggles, I'm going to color these guys, I don't know, like that, so that we have. I'm going to rename these on 1, on 2, on 3, on 4, 5, on 6, on 7, on 8. Now you can go back and rename these to whatever you want, but I like to have them just as the individual inputs, and then later on when I actually create parts for them, then I will name it whatever that particular part is, so like strings or bass or whatever. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to come over here to where it says MIDI 2, and now we're going to say output Omnisphere. Now I've selected all of these guys here, so now when I do this it's going to go Omnisphere, and it's going to track input. Very next thing we want to do is deselect everything and then just go to one track at a time. I'm going to go Omni 1, Omni 2, Omni 3, Omni 4, Omni 5, Omni 6, Omni 7, Omni 8. And you'll notice in here that we've got 9 through 16 as well. Omnisphere has extra inputs because I believe if you want, you can do all kinds of control things with the last 8 channels. We're not really interested in that. We're really just interested in getting sound into Omnisphere. So now, if I record arm this track, I should, theoretically, if I hit keyboard button, get some kind of sound coming out of, yep, there we go. I've got some signal coming out of Omnisphere here. In fact, let's turn on that speaker. Oh, we're going to create a feedback loop. Never mind. Kill that. So we can see we've got signal coming out, and if I go Omnisphere on Omni 1, if I take a look here, we can see that signal is coming out of number 1. Perfect. That doesn't help us for mix because now it's fine. If you want to compose in this, that's perfect. So you can compose and hit go and do your tempo tap and then part 1, part 2, part 3, get all your sounds and dial in and whatever. However, if you don't do anything else, then you're going to need to kind of mix everything in this screen right here. And when you open up Omnisphere, it sort of defaults to one of these guys, but you can come over here, your multi. It gives you options for your effects and whatever. Every synthesizer is different. I understand you're probably using Native Instruments or Contact or something like that. So whatever your multi-timbral instrument is, you'll typically have some kind of output routing and mix page. So now what I'm going to do here for the next part, because we want to be able to have individual mix control on a track of every one of these parts, I'm going to come in here, I'm going to change these outputs. So I'm going to go, so we'll leave this one as, actually we'll go B, C, D, E, F, G, H, except that leaves us one short. So this one will be A, this one will be B, this one will be C, this one will be D, nope, this one will be D, this one will be E, this one will be F, this one will be G, and this one will be H. So unfortunately we're stuck with that, which means that your host track will be your individual. Well, no, there's a workaround for that too. Never mind. So now we've got A through H. So now you'll see that A is still coming out of Omnisphere, but if I click the second one, I'm not getting any sound. But you can see that, oh, I guess I will have to load a patch or something. I don't know. Let's grab a keyboard. So I can see the input happening, I can see the output happening, but I'm not hearing any sound. So now what we have to do is we have to come over here and we have to create some audio tracks. So I'm going to create 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 audio tracks. And let's just make these, I don't know, yellow, bright yellow. All right, so on, out, 1, on, out, 2, on, out, 3, 3, 5, 6, 7. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to come in here, just like we did on the outputs of these MIDI tracks, we're going to go on the inputs of these audio tracks, and we're going to say input Omnisphere. And then I'm going to deselect, so I'm not, because if I have all of these selected and I click one of these guys, it's just going to set them all to that one thing, which is not what I want. So actually, this is perfect. So we've got Omnisphere, post mixer, that's perfect, because then that's our channel 1. And then we'll do something on the Omnisphere track as well. So there's 3, 4, there's 5, 6, there's 7, 8, there's 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So now, if I have this guy selected, theoretically I should have audio coming out on channel 2, except that we also have to set our monitor routing to in. This is important because these are just audio pass-through channels. I wouldn't necessarily want monitor input on something like this. So now theoretically, yep, we've got sound coming through. That's fantastic. And now we have all the control of an audio channel on this guy here. Oh, I have them all selected, don't I? All right, let's go back to so now I have all I can do plugins, I can do all kinds of effects, I can do all kinds of other things. If I want to, I can also record enable, let's see, I can record enable these guys so, both at the same time so that I can record MIDI and audio output if that's something that you want to do as well. Okay, so next, theoretically, so on this one we're going to have, remember, because we have this set to listen to A, and this one is also A. First of all, I forgot, I also like to name this host. We're going to say sends only on this guy. So now theoretically, if I hit this, this purple means that it's only going to my sends, and there's nothing going to the sends, so we're only hearing this audio out of here. I don't actually have it set to playback. Hold on a second. Let's give this a listen. And then it's feeding back to the microphone. Okay, so we've got that all set up. So now theoretically, that's channel 2, that's channel 1, channel 3, and so on and so forth. And that's how you set that up. So we've got our host track, we've got input tracks, which are MIDI, and we've got output tracks, which are audio. And the beauty is so I'm going to select all these guys, I'm going to group them. I'm going to rename this group Omnisphere 1, because sometimes I have multiple. And now I can open and close this little caret. And we have all of this stuff contained within a group, and so we can have here's our Omnisphere synthesizer, and then for the rest of this business we can have all of our other tracks and so on and so forth. I hope that's been somewhat helpful. That is how to route your inputs and outputs through a multi-timbral synthesis engine.